Hey guys, and welcome back for today's video. Going to run through 5 polls that have come out over the past couple of days. 3 of them taking a look at the national picture of the 2020 Democratic primary, and then also 2 state-specific results in very important states in this process. Of course, Iowa, and then also California. So starting off here with this first national poll, this one is coming from the Economist and YouGov, and it has a fairly close race among the top 2 candidates, and then also Bernie Sanders right there in the mix as well. So Joe Biden in first place at 24%, followed by Elizabeth Warren at 21%. And Bernie Sanders in third place at 15 percentage points. And then the rest of the candidates, we see them in the single digits. Buttigieg doing a little bit better here than where we typically see him in the national polls at 8 percentage points. Kamala Harris at 5, Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard each at 3 percentage points, respectively. Beto O'Rourke and Cory Booker each at 2 percentage points. And then all of the other candidates at 1% of support or less. Moving over to the CNN poll that just came out. And I was surprised to see the strength of Joe Biden in this particular poll, considering how big of a step back he took in the last CNN poll. Because if we take a look back at the one from early September, Biden had dipped down to 24% of support. But this one going up 10 percentage points in the course of a month, when really Joe Biden hasn't had any great catalysts over the past month, didn't do all that well in the debate, and outside of that, really hasn't had any moment that you would think, well, this is the reason why he's boosting up 10 percentage points. But these national CNN polls, they also don't use the largest sample size, is just 424 in this one. So that's also something to keep in mind, where you can get some swings back and forth in terms of having a smaller sample size for a national poll. But then we also see in second place, we have Elizabeth Warren at 19%, Bernie Sanders in third place at 16%, and then all the other candidates in mid to lower single digits. Then moving over to the third and last national poll that I'm going to be covering in this video, and that is this new result from Quinnipiac. And we see that Elizabeth Warren is in first place and has opened up a bit of a lead, and this is a much worse poll for Biden than what we saw in those 2 prior results. So we see in this one, Warren leading the pack at 28%. Support, followed by Biden at 21%, and then Bernie Sanders a little bit of a bounce back in this Quinnipiac poll at 15 percentage points. Also, Mayor Pete Buttigieg doing a bit better, like I said, than what we typically see him in these average of the national polls, getting up to double digits at 10%. And we take a look at the Quinnipiac poll that came out right before this past debate that we had, and Warren was at 30%, so basically right around the number where she is in this one. But Biden was at 27, so taking a step back of 6 points. Sanders was at 11, so regaining some of those points, 4 points back up to 15. Buttigieg was at 8, so he also gained a couple percentage points of support. And that's how things are looking in this Quinnipiac poll. Just 2 more polls to take a look at, these state-specific results. Looking at California, probably, if not the most important, one of the most important, because although it's not one of the 4 early primary or caucus states, it's earlier on in the process, and there's just a ton of pledged delegates to be had and that are up for grabs in California. So these candidates are going to be doing everything they possibly can to get at least to that 15 percentage point threshold to be part of the candidates that get divvied up some of those pledged delegates. And we can see the progressives leading the way in California, with Warren out front at 28% of support, Bernie Sanders right there in second place at 24%, Biden in third place at 19%, and a pretty devastatingly bad poll for Kamala Harris again in the state of California, where she is the senator from, down there in 5th place at 8%, just 1 point behind Pete Buttigieg, who's at 9%. And then one more poll that I want to take a look at. This one is out of the all-important state of Iowa, and we can see here that Warren leading the way at 28%, followed by Buttigieg, and Buttigieg continues to show early strength in Iowa, which could possibly boost him up and give him a bit of a puncher's chance to have more success than what his national numbers are saying, at least at this point on in the process, where we're seeing his Iowa numbers outpace those national numbers for Buttigieg, putting up a ton of resources and effort into trying to perform well in that first result. So Buttigieg in second place here at 20%, followed by Bernie Sanders at 18%, and a pretty bad poll here, again from Joe Biden in this state-specific result at 12 percentage points. Now, it's important to note that with these primaries in the Democratic field, the state results are important because there is no national primary. It's going to go state by state, and you can build or potentially lose momentum based on how you do in each of these state-specific results, where you can do really well in the national polls, but if it's not translating, especially to these early states, then you could have some issues that might prop up. We'll see if that is the case or not for Joe Biden, who in general is in first or second place in those national polls pretty solidly, but then we get to some of these state-specific results, and especially some of these early states where he's not necessarily doing all that well. For this one in Iowa in fourth place, and then also in that California one, he was in third place, for instance. So that's something to keep an eye on. So those are the 5 polls that I wanted to touch on in today's video, and I appreciate you guys stopping on in. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I hope to see you guys back here for my next video.